Mayday, Mayday. That's right. Happy Friday is here again. Another week in the books. Another month has begun. We're on to May. May the 4th be with you. We've got Cinco coming. I'm going to be in Texas this weekend. We're kicking this weekend off right, folks. That's right. My name is Kevin Batstone, doing all the podcasting all week. This is one of my favorite ones to close out the week, right here on the Discussion, Combustion, Production YouTube channel. And of course, I got to bring in my man across the table. That's Arthur, the RTS Gaming Raw.
Let's go. I got down on the gaming PC. Look, when you're an adult, gaming is your last priority. I just want to set the record straight here. You take care of your chores, you take care of your lady, you handle all the business, and then you play games guilt-free. What we getting into, Kev?
Well, it's May 2nd, which means we got to have some history. What's the rundown this week, Art?
May 2nd in history, 1876, Ross Barnes hits the first home run in league history. So the league was created I don't know when the league was created, around 1876, and this guy was the first one to ever get an official home run in the Major Baseball League. So that's a cool one. You know, everybody was fucking itching to get that, to be the first one to do it. 1878, just a couple of years beyond, the United States stops minting 20-cent coins. I've never even seen a 20-cent coin.
I haven't either.
I have been looking at some old pennies. I got some pennies from 1972. Apparently, you could get thousands of dollars for older coins. It's a niche market, but it makes me wonder how much one of these 20-cent coins would sell for
Here
today.
it is.
Oh, you pulled it up?
Yeah, I got it pulled up. Let's see if we can get a lot.
How much is that thing worth? That's what I want to know.
Well, it depends on who you talk to, right? Everyone's got their own value on what they think it should be. There it is, the 20-cent coin.
20-cent coin.
Let's see if we can get the viewers to look at that. The 20-cent coin there. Kind of unique.
I'm saying at least 20K.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Dude, if a penny from the 70s is worth like 5,000, then yeah.
It could be.
From 1878, a coin that's no longer produced anymore, that got to be worth some major coin. 1980, Pink Floyd's Another Brick in Wall. I don't know if that was a typo on the website, but it's part 2. I didn't realize there was 2 parts to that song.
What a great, the album.
Okay, so either way,
it's badass.
That gets banned in South Africa. I don't know why they got banned.
It's the devil's music.
Yeah, I don't know why Pink Floyd got banned in South Africa, but they did in 1980.
Didn't know that.
And then moving forward to 1997, a movie was released on this day. One with Mr. Michael Myers.
International Man of Mystery?
Yes, sir. And Elizabeth Hurley. That's right. Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery.
Yeah, baby.
Comes out. I mean,
what a classic, huh?
What a solid lad.
I mean, it's kind of a slapstick, but it's good.
It's a fun one. And then also in 1997 on this day, police arrest transsexual prostitute. They were arrested for being a prostitute, not transsexual. But who were they with? Who was with this prostitute? Eddie Murphy, the man himself.
Wow, getting into some wild shit, huh?
So that's today in history.
Damn.
May 2nd.
That's a lot to unpack there. I wonder what Eddie Murphy's up to nowadays.
That didn't hurt his reputation at all. That's the thing. No one even talks about that.
It probably helped him. All right, we're going to move on to a situation that we got going on in Seattle, okay? So after further review, nudity is illegal in the state of Washington. I don't know if you knew that or not. But there's certain parameters to it. You can't just walk around, doing sex and indecent exposure and throwing a whiz in the bushes. Mm-hmm. There's certain rules to it. I was trying to understand Washington state law about it. But this is not one of that's in it. This is illegal activity. Rampant masturbation has amped up in parts of Seattle neighborhoods. They have almost like a Cheeseman Park, if you will, for the Denver viewers, where the reputation of that park, where some of the LGBT community can go and they do sex in the bushes and stuff.
Do they?
Yeah. That you never heard that about Cheeseman Park right there up 9th and Corona?
I didn't know they were doing sex in the bushes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyhow, you learn something new every day. So they're concerned. They're looking out their windows and people are beating their meat aggressively. Aggressive masturbation. Werewolf type masturbation. Intense masturbation.
You've seen werewolf masturbation?
No. But like where you turn into a werewolf and you're just and you're doing it like that,
Okay.
it, some understand. In any case, so they reached out to local news. Now they're launching like an investigation locally, trying to figure out who these people are.
So there's multiple people publicly masturbating.
There's a couple of repeat offenders that they've like, oh, we know this guy, and so they've approached them like, can you not do that here? And they don't seem to care. They're just going to keep beating their meat. Not something that I would be capable of doing. I don't do well in public environments.
Yeah.
With that type of activity.
Mm-hmm.
So that made the lead article this week, and I'm sure it's going to open up a lot more questions.
Well, I just wonder why all of a sudden they feel like it's okay. Like, if you need to do it, like, at least try to like find a private place, like, or maybe that's part of their kink is like
It could be
is being watched and knowing that they're disturbing the peace with their self pleasure. Maybe that's part of the kink.
There's some layers to it for sure, and then I think then you get addicted to it, the thrill,
and then now it's just not the same at home.
And now the surrounding neighbors are trying to have their tea and their coffee in the morning. This is the shit that they're looking at going on in the park across the street.
I would get like a pellet gun. Well, not a pellet, but like a
airsoft.
Plastic, like something that shoots the plastic.
Yeah, airsoft.
Yeah, I actually have one already.
That thing wrecked the side of our refrigerator.
I would use one of those.
Yeah, you can make
because that's not lethal. That's not lethal.
Well, and you'd be shooting at a pretty good distance.
Yeah. So I'll just
you start shooting with airsoft as he's jerking
try to hit his dick.
Oh God. Well, I mean, that's one way to go about it. Try to shoot him in the dick with an airsoft gun.
Yeah. Get that out
That'll
of here.
probably stop him from jerking off in the park.
Get that out of here, man.
Oh, yeah.
No, this dude has these people. It's multiple people. Yeah, it's just one person.
No, it's a group of people that are repeating.
They're doing it together.
But then I think they're like recruiting others. Like, come on, we're going to get together. We're going to do this thing. So, don't have any answers for you. The investigation's launched. No charges have come down yet. I'm sure that they're now probably going to be patrolling this neighborhood. So, apologies for a little bit of the grotesque lead article here.
Well, it's news and it's ridiculous. News. And it's Friday.
That's what makes Happy Friday fun. We have ridiculous news stories.
It's Friday.
And so moving on, what's going on Mount Fuji?
I mean, everyone knows it's a beautiful place. And it's also an amazing thing to hike on. But right now, it's out of season. So the hiking season is advertised in Japan. Yeah. Mount Fuji, Japan, is advertised from July to early September. So a Chinese university student in his 20s living in Japan was rescued twice off of Mount Fuji it was 4 days apart.
How?
Okay, so first of all, he's there off season.
Okay.
And it's not recommended to go hiking off season. There's crazy weather conditions. The paths aren't in great condition. You got snowy weather, all the things to reasons why you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So the first rescue occurred on Tuesday via helicopter. He was suffering from altitude sickness. And then the second rescue, this dude went back up, took place on Saturday. So this was like a week ago, basically. After he returned to retrieve his forgotten phone, apparently.
That's why he went back.
Apparently that's why he went back. Both times he was found by another off-season hiker at over 9,800 feet over the sea level.
That's not that high. We're here in Colorado. I mean, we have, we'll stay in a hotel at 11,000 feet.
But it's still high. Like there's snow up there.
Yeah, but you're making it sound like it's Mount Everest, like 16,000. That's altitude.
This is Fuji. This is Mount Fuji.
Yeah, this guy might be the dumbass of the week.
He might just be the dumbass of the week. Police could not confirm if he found his phone the second time or not. But basically, what they try to do to make it so people don't go out there all the time because there's a lot of overcrowding is they started doing an entry fee in 2023. It's only $27 US, which that's 4,000 yen. Like $27 is 4,000 yen. But either way, this guy rescued off the mountain twice, less than 7 days. What's going on with this guy?
Yeah, this guy's probably the dumbass of the week. I mean, at that point, you've been rescued. You got to let your phone go. All right. That was collateral damage from the incident on Mount Fuji. Go get you a new phone. Don't go back up there.
Yeah.
Get yourself in the same position you were in to begin with.
Well, then you don't have a phone to call emergency services if you're looking for your phone.
Well, yeah, but I'm assuming they took him to a civilization when he was rescued.
Well, yeah, and don't you think like if you just got airlifted off of a mountain, that you would at least like figure out what went wrong, and then next journey you're like a little bit better prepared?
I would hope so, but evidently this guy is probably the dumbass of the week.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So, you know, we're gonna go ahead and put a PSA out there. It's not safe to hike out of season. If you're gonna do it with more than one person and prepare for things that you won't necessarily expect. That's my only advice with that.
expect the unexpected, and when you're out, facing Mother Nature, she can be pretty ruthless. All right, we're moving on. Our random records of the week. Record breaker Rush back in here. David Rush doing wild shit as always. This week, I want to attempt this one because I think this one. I don't know if we'll get in his time bracket, but I want to see how quick I can do this.
What is this?
So the previous record to break for stacking 10 rolls of toilet paper, not the roll like with paper on it, so like full toilet paper rolls, stacking it one hand. How quick do you think you can do 10? One hand.
Like
probably 8 seconds.
I'm gonna say like 15 seconds.
I think you could probably do one per second, so I'll go say 10.
Okay.
All right, that's what I think I can do it in. David Rush, previous record to beat, 5.45 seconds was the record he was chasing.
That's fast.
He did it in 5.38, shaving off only 7 millimeters or milliseconds of time there. But we know, like in racing, that's huge. That's the difference between starting on the pole and mid pack. So he gets it done, stacking these things up. You can click the link, watch him do it. He puts it all on his YouTube channel. David Rush, baby, breaking those records.
It must have been the single ply for aerodynamics.
That's a good question. I'm sure that the brands play into that a little bit. What's your preferred method or your preferred brand of ass wipe?
Well, it's my wife's preferred because she's more sensitive than I am. So whatever extra cushion she likes is what I get.
She likes the Charmin, or maybe the Quilted Northern.
The extra cushion. We need that super soft.
I mean, who doesn't like it nice and soft?
Super soft.
And then the single ply just tears.
The single ply?
It's no good.
No, because then you end up just double plying it in your hand.
Yeah, it's no good. They try to sell it like it's better. It isn't. Use more of it. So, any case, record breaker Rush, getting it done on point here to keep breaking one record per week. Again,
I wonder if he got to take any of those home and use them at his house afterwards.
The TP rolls?
Yeah, I mean, this is a world record breaking TP roll. I would love to clean myself up with one of those.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it.
I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, you broke a record with this thing and now you're using it for practical purposes?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd get that excited about it, but evidently you are.
I mean, have you ever wiped your tushy with world record breaking toilet paper? No.
No, I can't say I have.
No, you haven't. Me neither. And I don't know if I live now.
More questions than answers on that one, folks. And now we got to keep it moving to the Would You Rather. The Would You Rather segment, Art. Let's go back and take a look. Live action here, of course, last week. Do you remember what last week's was?
No.
Come on, Art.
Once you started, I'll remember.
Okay, so we asked fully refurbished. You have to pick one to live in.
Fully refurbished. Oh, prison or mental ward.
Or psych ward.
Yeah.
So the viewers went 50-50 on us again.
And we both did prison, right?
We both took the prison. I think I sold you on that with the structural integrity.
Yeah.
And some of the other designs. There's like a yard and different shit. Evidently, America's split again, which is pretty common for the folks that take our Twitter X poll over there at Happy Fry USA. That's where the Would You Rathers go up. So we don't have a definitive answer. It went 50-50. Art and I went to prison. And this one is going to make you think a little bit.
Yes, this week's Would You Rather. And thank you so much, everybody, for participating. Really makes it fun for Kevin and I. Now, this week's Would You Rather is, would you rather forget the last 5 years, so you can't remember anything that happened in the last 5 years?
This is interesting.
Or would you rather not remember the next 5 years? So I'm 38, so once I turn 43, all of a sudden I'm like, what happened? I don't have memory of my next 5 years. So would you rather forget the past for 5 years or not remember the future for 5 years? Where are you going, Kev?
I'm going to forget the last 5, mainly because I have to pick one here. The past 5 haven't been horrible or anything.
Yeah.
There's been some life changes that have happened in those 5 years. But when I look at the next 5 years, I want to remember those because I truly believe I'm stepping into the best years of my life.
Yes.
Everything's coming together, synchronicity, great people. I'm going to forget the last 5. So that would take us back to a year and a half into our podcasting journey. Not, it was during COVID, which is not the best time. It would be the last thing I remember.
Mm-hmm.
But because I got to pick one here, we're going to 86 the last 5, and we're going to full send the next 5.
Well, you're in luck because I will remember the last 5 years and I can fill you in. And I cannot forget the last 5 years because I got off of opiates.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped being a beta male and
Mm-hmm.
learned how to be my centered self. And I also got married.
It's pretty
So,
big.
so I can't
And
forget.
the podcast
Yeah,
journey.
and obviously the podcast journey too. But
Right.
like, so I can't forget that stuff,
No, I
man.
get it. I
And
get it.
these next 5 years are going to be amazing. And I know I'm in my golden years of my life right now. But yeah, there's no way I could forget the last 5. It's been way too crucial. So where are you going, America? Are you forgetting the last 5, or are you gonna forget the next 5? Let us know.
Let us know in the comments below or over on the Twitter X poll. All right, we're keeping it moving. Another funny article this week. We always got to have at least one from across the pond, right? So I love the Brits. They're some of my favorite people. This is funny. British guy, so I'll tell the story a little bit kind of out of order. February 28th, his vehicle gets stolen.
Okay.
Okay. It's like a kind of a shared parking area, kind of like your setup. Car is gone. He puts it in. He ends up getting an insurance settlement. He goes through the whole thing, right? And so then he's like, man, I really like that car. I want to try to find something pretty close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Same color, same year, same model. Ended up being a black 2016 Honda Civic Type R. It's a pretty nice ride.
Okay.
You get the 6-speed
It's
going
pretty
in there.
specific ride, yeah.
Pretty specific. So he starts looking in the marketplace. Okay, who's got what? Found one for $26,000. Buys it. Realizes that the VIN on it was completely altered, like it was a fake VIN, and he bought back his stolen car.
No way.
Bought back the same car that was stolen out of his.
Was the dude he bought it from the thief?
That is to be determined, because usually what happens is that, the thieves will bring it to
Yeah.
a situation to hawk it or whatever,
Yeah.
and they'll put what they think is a real VIN, but it's not. It's counterfeit, because you can't have the same VIN,
Yeah.
right? So they have this counterfeit VIN that doesn't have any reports on it if you run the Carfax or anything. So in any case, he buys back his stolen car. I mean, the irony of that.
That is. I wonder, he probably just lost money all throughout the entire deal.
It probably, yeah.
Lost money, lost time, but this is the power to your mind, okay? We all know that we love affirmations here and the law of attraction. This dude was thinking about his old car so much
That it found its
he
way
thought
back.
it back into his life. What we think comes true, and I feel like this is proof to that.
That's an interesting thought. Yeah, that is an interesting
I feel
thought.
like it's proof to that.
No, I guess it is. I mean, he kind of got screwed on that deal, though. Basically, I don't know if he lost money on the deal, but he certainly lost time, right? He had to go shop for it. He
lost money.
He had to go through the process of the insurance report, all that. But in the end, he got his car back, and I hope that the thieves are no good and that they were arrested, but I don't have any reports that they were.
Yeah, I mean, generally shitty people are not enjoying their lives.
That's
so
true.
It's like, why they're already not enjoying their time. So I don't even wish bad karma against people that are bad, because they're already probably enjoying their life less than I am.
That's probably fair to say. So, wild story there, Art. We're going to keep it moving. You've got something coming at us here. What are you looking at?
Also, from across the
Look
pond.
at that. That was back to back across the pond.
Hey, England, they're doing some things right out there, and I agree with what they're doing here. And what's cool about this one is the decision makers were autonomous and did it on their own. We're talking school systems here, baby, and we're talking about more than 90% of the schools in England banned smartphone use. And actually, there's 13 U.S. states that have already taken similar actions. So a couple key points on this one. With the 90% of implemented smartphone bans despite no national regulations. So there's no national regulation against this in the UK. And like I said, the schools were autonomously allowed to decide. And a survey of over 15,000 plus schools showed that 99.8% of elementary schools had banned smartphones. 90% of middle schools had banned smartphones in classrooms. And it's like, look, you could still have your phone in the hallway or whatever, but then they got like those magnetic pouches or whatever that they have at concerts and comedy shows, so you can't record. And what's really interesting about this is even having your phone in your pocket or in your backpack, distracts you because you know it's there, you know it's available. Like there's like this psychological layer to just knowing that it's close to you.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not even looking at it, it still distracts you. So that was one interesting thing about this.
Yep.
Um, they're saying that they do teach and use tablets, so that's still allowed in the classroom, but that's not
Are,
attached to people's social
are
media
they are
and
they
stuff.
like issued through the school, or are you allowed to bring it in for your studies?
Teaching related phone tablets use was excluded from the data.
Interesting.
So I don't know if those were school provided or home provided, but we all know that the tab usually doesn't have all it could have the connectability as their phone, but usually our phones are more dialed into everything.
Okay.
So the first school with a total ban for ages under 14 reporting strong parental support. So the parents are behind this movement. And they also saw attention levels go up. They saw grades go up and all this other stuff because people don't have their phones anymore.
I like it.
Just another time where I feel blessed that I was born when I was born
Yeah,
because
same.
we didn't have to deal with this.
We didn't have it.
We didn't have to deal
We
with
did
that.
not have it.
You know, talking about a lot of other things, we're moving into United States now. So
Okay.
the regulation is left to individual states.
As it should.
Delaware, Pennsylvania, Arkansas, those ones are in there. Florida, California, those are other ones. Virginia, Minnesota, Indiana,
California
Louisiana.
surprises me.
So these are all ones that have taken steps toward starting to mandate no phones in classrooms.
I'm good with it.
And research supports reduced phone use for better learning, health, and lower social media pressure. So you remove the phone, people are more focused,
They
more
are.
physically healthy as well. I don't know how that plays into it. I'm sure there's like all these scientific articles on that.
There is.
But hey, I'm with it.
Yeah.
Ban the phones. It's a distraction, even for adults. At my day job, I'll straight up throw my phone into like 15 feet away from me because if I leave it on my desk
Yeah.
in between tasks, I might just go ahead and pick it up and like look at TikTok. And honestly, what am I getting out of TikTok? It's not helping me be productive toward my workday. It's
Right.
It's just straight up a
It's
distraction.
It's the doom scroll.
So beyond the schools, reducing phone usage is only a positive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think about this, Kev?
Well, I like it. I think you're gonna have to do it in a way where, either they have to stay in the locker, like they need to be able to have access to their device, like maybe after school if they're getting picked up. They need to check in with a parental figure, but definitely you can't have them in the class, right? And if they're seen, whatever, you get in trouble, whether it's a suspension or whatever, detention. I don't know what the hell they do. That's probably not a thing that they do much anymore because it's considered like I used to get detention all the time for being an idiot.
Yeah.
A dumbass. I deserve the detention. Now I think they're too soft on these kids, frankly. Now I don't really have any involvement with education, but I like the move. It makes sense to me. It's proven, and we have studies coming out now that folks that hold their phone to their head, we're already starting to see the terrible damage that it's doing to this entire area.
What
So,
do you mean? Like what kind of damage?
well, it's destroying brain cells. You can see the radiation damage.
How about like the Bluetooth headphones?
It's better. The further you can get this device away because it's
Yeah.
pinging constantly. So it's got Wi-Fi pinging. It's trying to go to the 5G towers. So you've got frequencies bouncing through your head.
Yeah.
So the further you can get your device away from you and then chat on, I typically use my earbuds. You're still getting a little bit of Bluetooth waves there, but it's a lot less than holding it to your head.
That makes sense.
So that could probably play into some of the physical studies, the physical health.
Mm-hmm.
I support it. Social media is already a toxic thing. The cyberbullying, all that shit that goes on, that's probably best left for outside of the school.
Yeah.
Not the cyberbullying, but the phone use.
And if it wasn't for all this podcasting stuff, like I wouldn't even be on social media.
I wouldn't either. It's not my favorite thing. So, that's my thoughts on it. I like that the U.S. has taken some. I wonder what Colorado's going to do about it. Like California surprises me just with how easygoing they are with a lot of things, and that state's a complete disaster, frankly. I find that interesting. So, great article. Thanks for sharing with us, Art.
Yeah. Yeah. No, good stuff. And just a reminder that life is lived in front of you, not in front of a screen.
Very well said.
And thanks for tuning in.
All right, I'm going to keep it moving. I am going to be on an airplane probably about the time you're watching this right now. And in fact, it's a Southwest flight. We had another situation in the air this week, Art.
Okay.
We did an article similar to this a few weeks ago about the woman that got naked, was running up and down the aisle and was going just bonkers. And they had they were still on the tarmac when that happened, so they were able to assess it. This happened on a flight from Philadelphia to Chicago Midway, which I've been to both airports. A woman decided to not only take off all of her clothes, but take a shit in the seat on the airplane.
While in the nude?
In the nude. She did nude shitting at 50 or 40,000 feet, 38, whatever the hell they fly at. Defecated all over the seat. They had to then obviously take the plane out of service to clean it. They consider hazardous material.
Yeah.
You got fecal matter on a seat someone's going to be sitting on. And I mean, more questions. My mind goes to drugs. There is 2 lavatories on the plane. I understand, like, if you got to shit, there's other ways to go about it than get naked and shit in your seat in the air.
Yeah.
Right. So they had to ground this fucking thing. It caused nothing but travel delays for everybody else, of course, because now they have to, it screws everybody else's time. Take the plane out of service, deep clean the sumbitch, and just another hiccup in the air. People are losing their minds.
I'm concerned for people.
Oh, I've been for a long time.
But it's one of those things where it's like,
this is NPC activity.
No, this is like boss battle.
I don't know about boss battle.
Yeah, you want to boss battle the naked shitter?
No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, see, that's not NPC material.
I think she's an NPC.
That might be main character type shit.
No.
Like, they think that their main character can get away with murder, can get away with defecation.
No, the NPCs are just out wandering thinking that, like, the law doesn't apply to them and that they're just like, oh, I'll do whatever I'm told. So I'm going to go shit in fucking 38,000 feet.
People would tell you that you don't want to do that. But okay, so this person has to have a mental condition,
possibly, or it was drugs,
or like here, if you're on antidepressants, please don't drink booze.
Well, no, you shouldn't mix really any medication with booze.
Yeah, just don't.
It's no good.
It's not fun for your significant other. Trust me. Been through that in the past.
Yeah, that's a good PSA, Art.
Now, if that was in the last 5 years, maybe I'd want to forget that, but that precedes 5 years.
I can understand shitting yourself, like, you have an incident, maybe you got a stomach bug or something,
and you
shit your pants, and you can't make it to the lavatory, whatever happens, like, it's no good. Still wouldn't be an ideal situation, but like to get naked and shit in the seat, there's something else going on there.
What would you do if you were sitting next to this person? Like, because I've never had a loony happen to me.
I've had some
on
drunks.
a plane.
I've had some people that are wasted next to me on the plane.
Yeah.
And on possibly other drugs.
And you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, I sit on the aisle seat. I don't do the window.
Yeah.
I'm always an aisle seat guy. I have my earbuds in, sunglasses on, because I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
Just let me listen to my tunes and get to where I need to go.
Yeah.
Right? So what would I do in this situation? I'd probably be like, I would probably stand up, and get out of that situation. And I would just go stand like where the flight attendants do.
But you gotta sit to land.
Well, I will sit with the flight attendants. I'll be like, make room for me on this little bench.
It's not safe. You got to sit next to this shit.
Oh man, I don't know. It'd be rough. I'd have to. Maybe I'd go sit in the lavatory.
If that happened next to me, I would probably put something over it. I might sacrifice a piece of clothing.
Yeah, you
and
might.
Just be like, you know what? I had this sweater, and this is. I'm sorry, sweater. Look, you served me well, and I'm sorry this is how you end.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. We could throw it back to my Colfax scrapping story. Had to sacrifice some socks and some toasty toes. You do what it takes in the moment to get through it, right? It's not ideal, but you use the resources available. And so
I feel bad for them. Only if they feel bad for themselves. It's one of those things like
embarrassing.
Well, yeah, because just like the farmer who did it with one of their goats. He was a great farmer his whole life, but everyone just knows him as the goat fucker.
That's fair.
And now you're the plane shitter.
Now you're the plane shitter
for the rest of your life.
It's terrible. So that's how we're going to end it. That's how we're going into the weekend. Art is me on an airplane currently, hopefully not sitting next to a plane shitter. And so what do we got going this weekend? I'm of course going to Texas. Cody Jinks, NASCAR. It's a full weekend down there. We are at the Texas Motor Speedway.
That's going to be fun.
I encourage anyone in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to come out, say hi. Jeff Davis and I will be in the area having some good times out there with the Texas folk. They're some of my favorite people.
Yeah.
The great food, great energy. The weather's going to be perfect. So we're saddling up. We're going to Texas.
Nice, man. That's going to be exciting. While you're on your airplane, I can recommend that you get started on the Star Wars movies.
Okay.
Because May the 4th is upon us.
That would be Sunday. I'll be at the Cup race.
And you have not watched any Star Wars movies.
I've seen them, but I certainly not in the proper order. in the proper fashion.
What is the proper order?
You would have to explain that to me.
Yeah, that's a debatable topic.
I'm in untreaded waters there.
But you could try it out, see what you think about that.
Obviously, we have Cinco on Monday, so a lot of the Cinco parties will happen this weekend.
That's not on the weekend.
I know, but the parties are this weekend.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm in the industry. We just got done gearing up for this weekend. People aren't going to get hammered on the Monday. They're going to do it on Saturday night. They will.
They're still going to be, yeah.
Yeah, no, they will. But people are going to celebrate. It's like when Halloween falls on a Monday. People are doing the parties on a Saturday night.
I'm going to need more PTO. I'm going to go on an adventure.
I'm off Monday.
Hey, I'm going to need some PTO. I'm going on an adventure this weekend.
Yeah, you are.
I'm going to take my girl to Rifle, Colorado.
Beautiful town.
We're going to start doing an every other weekend local drivable adventure. Looking forward to creating new memories with my sweetie.
I love it. It's going to be a great weekend, Art. I'll see you when I get back from Tejas. It's going to be great. This was a great episode. It went much longer than we anticipated.
Thanks for tuning in to Happy Friday. Let's make it a great day. Check us out on all the social medias. And if you made it this far, you know who's closing this out. Let's go, freaking Shinnis.
It's fine.